Welcome to newspaper analysis session. The topics that we are going to cover today is, so we'll see what is landslide. So where do we see such landslides? We'll try to understand comprehensively about this topic, landslides. So you have disaster management. We have already covered various topics under the disaster management. Okay, so we will see today about the landslides as well. And then we will try to see little bit about the geography of the Latin America. So we have also yesterday discussed Indian government is trying to make a deal with the Chile. Okay, so today they are also trying to make a deal with the Paraguay. Yes. Okay, so we'll see what is this Mercosur. So why this Latin America is important? What is the current status to us? Okay, so I'll try to show little bit mapping perspective as well here in the Central Asia, and then we'll also see regarding the Latin America. Then the most important article for today is we'll try to understand the situation of illegal migrants in the Assam. So you might have seen Assam government is deporting the illegal migrants and the Bangladesh borders. So we need to understand not just the factual information that Assam government is deporting the illegal migrants. We need to understand what is the legal backing behind that. Very high chances in the UPSC, the mains for this year, they may ask questions on these lines. So do you think there is a need for new foreigners law? Okay, so government has introduced Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025. So what are the various legal provisions to deal with the illegal migrants? And do you need reforms? Very high chances this question will appear in this year mains. So something on these lines. Because from very long time, the issue of illegal migrants is going on. So we'll try to understand this issue in a proper manner. Then IATA conference. Okay, so that is going on. What is this IATA and what is this conference and why is this important? We have already discussed a lot about this airline industry of the India. Today we will brainstorm the points. Today we will think what are the challenges. Today you need to generate the points. You need to tell me the points. We have already discussed multiple points, and today whatever the points that I am discussing, you need to store it in those things in the mind, because only those things will keep on repeating. I'll show you what even our Prime Minister has said regarding structural issues we are facing in the airline industry. So once you do this thing, your airline industry or civil aviation sector is prepared. Done. Okay. Okay, see here. So nothing new for you. So Maoists, they have surrendered in the Chhattisgarh. I have told you there should be two approaches. One is a developmental approach and another is a security related approach. We have gone with the security related approach. We have gone very strongly against the Maoist extremist group. Many leaders have been died. Then some of the Maoist leaders, they are also surrendered. Okay, they have surrendered because they are giving up the arms, and we have given them some schemes. We are trying to rehabilitate them. Okay, so the things are going on. This is just a kind of extension because government wants to finish off this Maoism by 2026 March. So again, just a recap, what is Maoism? Maoism means it's based on political ideology. Okay, basically it has evolved from the Maoist ideology. In this ideology, through armed rebellion, they want to overthrow the government. They are not anti-India. They are anti-government. They want to overthrow government through armed struggle. So this is the ideology given by the Mao of China. Since they have adopted the same ideology, that's why they are called as a Maoist. Their Mao came into the power by overthrowing the government through armed rebellion. Okay, whoever the people armed, whoever have taken the arms, they were the peasants. They have overthrown the government, then existing government. So in this way, this has also evolved post-independence in India. I told you, government has implemented various land reforms, but those land reforms are not implemented properly. So in the West Bengal, in the Naxalbari area, so some people, they have fought against these landlords. So since it was in the Naxalbari area, so the term Naxalism has come. So Naxalism, okay, because it has come from that particular area, since it was first initially the violent movement, it has started there. So these guys, they generally hide in these forest areas and they keep on attacking. Okay, they will take up the issues of the local people. They'll get support from the local people. Okay, they'll say we are your protectors because government is not supporting you, not aiding you. So that's why they will get the moral support from the people also, and they will get armed support from the outside nations as well. okay, from the Nepal or any Myanmar or anything, China. So they will get, because if any kind of internal disturbance, China will supply arms. Okay, come on, do this thing. So India has done everything. In the border, restrictions have been imposed, developmental measures, tribal reforms. Okay, any government related schemes. Many government has introduced various schemes for the tribal development. So we have tried to address Maoism issue in a comprehensive manner, and we have resolved the issue, and we are very sure that by next year this problem will be ended. So once upon a time, Manmohan Singh has said the biggest internal security threat that India has back then had. Okay, so it was a Maoism, but now it is no more a threat. It has almost all the biggest leaders were died or they have surrendered. Now they are confined to very narrow oceans. So we have done this thing. Then manufacturing PMI declines. I have told you we will check the growth of overall GDP by the Ministry of the Statistics, that is the government related. Then I have told you within the different sectors, they will also check the IIP, Index of Industrial Production, same Ministry of the Statistics. Then within the IIP, I told you there is a Ministry of Commerce will release a core index. Like this, there are various indices that are released by the government. Now this PMI, Purchasing Managers Index, this is a kind of private study. Purchasing managers. Here you need to see managers. They will reach out to the managers at various organizations and they will say how the business is going on, what kind of deals, orders you are getting. So they will ask the managers. So they will say, the managers will respond, okay, this year this is going down, this year the orders are less and all. So they will do the questionnaire to the managers, and if they will have the reference value. If the value is above 50, that means manufacturing is growing. Okay, if it is less than 50, that means manufacturing is contracting. So some basic idea that you need to know. This will keep on coming, purchasing manufacturing index for every month. So you will see what is the scenario in the manufacturing sector in this May month, April month. Again, next month it will appear. So things will not be alien for you. So as you keep on looking at them, things will become easy for you. Why has net FDI is reducing? I told you. So whenever the scenarios, global uncertainties are very unstable, I've told you. So people will invest in what are the two things I told you? Stable things, gold and the dollar. So they are handling this in this way, safety thing. This would be a temporary thing. Okay. So so that's why the net FDI is plummeting. Okay, I have told you. So we need investments, we need markets. So for the investment purpose, not just Indians, we also need the more investment. So that's why we try to attract the FDI. So investment you can link. Now we need more markets. That's why I told you Paraguay. So government is trying to make a deal with the. So we are trying to not just find the more and more investments. We are also trying to find more and more markets. This will be a continuous process. So when will be there will be more investment. So when there is more liberal eras. So I have told you this idea, this also. When the government, when some person has to invest, that also some foreigner. So when will the foreigner will invest? When the Apple. So Apple, they said we will establish here a manufacturing plant. When will they do that? So when the labor cost is cheaper, when the government is able to provide law and order security, proper facilities like power facilities, water facilities, infrastructure facilities, roads, railways, multimodal connectivity, right? Only in those scenarios you will invest, or else why do you invest? So we need to provide those kind of scenarios. So that's why government post 1991 is taking the liberalization reforms. Okay, so we have changed one thing we have discussed, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. It was there, I told you, while discussing the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. There was a Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. From there, we have changed the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Okay, like this, we have tried various kinds of liberalization reforms. Okay, previously, if they have to start any kind of business, they have to take license from the government. Now you don't need such a kind of license. Ease of doing business we are trying to bring. Okay, so there will be a single portal where all the approvals for the power, for the business establishment, everything. Okay, so in this way we are trying to simplify procedures so that more and more investment will come. Okay, this is at the state level also they are doing this thing. Okay, various levels, so that the investment happens at the state level. So you need to have that kind of clarity. When these things changes, these things can change domestically also. Maybe policy, you are saying we will give this contract. Later on you are saying no, we will cancel this contract. We are not pro this contract. Like this is a kind of policy uncertainty. If you display this kind of policy uncertainty, or some kind of terrorist or some kind of Naxalist or some kind of extremist group, they are attacking the people there. So all these things can discourage the investment. Or anything which is beyond in your hands. Like say someone somewhere, like say Ukraine and Russia are fighting global uncertainty. So even then in those cases also there can be reduction of investments in India. So you need to get that big picture. Okay. So now when you see these things, there is nothing new. These are the things we are keep on discussing. So try to understand these things in that manner. Even this thing you will see frequently in these hilly areas, Himalayan areas, landslides will keep on happening. So let's try to understand what are these landslides are. So anyway, I have given you a very comprehensive material. Okay. Oh, why is this looking this way? I think it got the way the font line got changed. Fine. I don't like this level of font. The previous font was different, right? Okay. The content is same, but font looks a little bigger. Okay. So what is landslides? I think notepad is not open. So what is basically landslide? Land is sliding. Okay, when does this thing happens? So primarily, what is the major reason is gravity. Under the influence of the gravity, huge mass of material falls down. Okay, that is a point that you need to remember. Huge mass of material is moving downslope. Is moving downslope under the influence of gravity. That's it. So when does this happens? When the slope is steep. Okay. So if the slope is this way, can the landslide happens? Okay, like this, something can fall like this? No. When the slope is steep, suddenly huge lump mass, okay, it will fall down. Okay, suddenly let's assume all this part is suddenly falling down. Now why this thing happens? One thing is primarily, the first thing is any kind of slope changes. Previously, let's assume that the slope is little bit gentle. Now for the construction of the roads or some things, you have changed the slopes. The level of the slope previously it was, let's say like this, but you have constructed roads. Okay, now the slope has become this way because of your the way you have changed the structures of the slope and this thing. Okay, the first thing is changes in the slope. Now the second most important thing is water. So that's the reason you will see all these kind of landslides primarily in the rainy season. So when the rainfalls are very heavy, the water adds a slippery surface. The more water, the more probability of the huge material is moving down slope of down the slope under the influence of the gravity. We are saying landslides are the mass movement. That means not a single rock. Mass, heavy structures all together they are falling down. Mass movement. That's why we'll call it as a kind of mass movement. Okay, these are the natural processes. They keep on happening. That's how the shape of the landforms will keep on evolving. You will study later on in the geomorphology. Okay, so landforms means any kind of three-dimensional structures which you will see outside. These can be natural landforms as well as man-made landforms. So be it a mountains, be it a buildings, infrastructure, everything is a landform, be it a natural or man-made. So these landforms are primarily shaped by this kind of mass movements. Okay, or later on also you will also study endogenetic and exogenetic forces. I'm not getting into that. You will study these things in the static things. Currently we'll restrict only to the landslides. Landslide, or it comes under the category of the mass movement, which plays a role in shaping up of the landforms. See here now, previously the landform is this way. Okay, now after the landslides, okay, it has become this way. Okay, because this material has been fallen down, it fell down. So there is a shape change. Now this material will be deposited here. Later on, this material can be transported by rivers and all. So like this, the structure is continuously changing. So these are the two prime reasons. Then you can think of so many points later on. So depending upon the material here. Okay, if the material is very hard, very difficult to erode. Okay, if the material is having strong grip. Okay, then it may not fall down. Okay, if the material is loose, very unconsolidated sand materials, okay, like say you will say you like say maybe some kind of sedimentary rock deposits. Okay, so then there is a high possibility of the landslides. So depending upon, we will say geology, depending weathering, okay, you can say, okay, so weathering is a different thing, so that can also play the role. Weathering means in situ disintegration of the rock. So there is a rock, wherever it is there, it is getting disintegrated at the place wherever it is. Later on, like this, so much of the material has been already weathered and it is there. Now all that material is flowing down. So weathering can be a precondition, but it's not necessary in the case of landslides, but definitely it will play the role. So then apart from this water, then you can say think of climate. So more the climate is more rainy season. Okay, so there are good amount of the winds and all, so that is also playing the role. And then we can also think of vegetation. If you have cleared the vegetation, generally vegetation can hold the solid materials. Now for suppose you have removed any kind of tree that is there here, you have cleared the vegetation there, okay, then again there is a possibility of the landslide. Or man-made factors, like you are changing the general, like say for suppose the river is flowing this way, okay, so now you have made some tributary, okay, like another river is flowing that way, but you have made this tributary to enter into this river. Now what will happen? The flow of the river will increase. Whatever the flow of the river previously was there, because you have made this river to enter in this river linkages, inter-river linkages, whatever we think. Now the speed of the river will increase, and though it will play the more role in the erosion, weathering, and the mass movement. So human-made factors, they are also playing a role. Another things, tectonics. Later on you will study tectonics. Tectonics means plate movements. Tectonics, when we are saying, it is just saying we are nothing but the plate movement, one line word. Basically, you have this way your Indian plate. Okay, here you have your and here you have your Eurasian plate. Okay, our Indian plate is going this way and it is hitting the Eurasian plate. This process is still going on. Okay, it was the previously, because of this process only we have seen the fold mountains. Okay, still there is still the movement is still going on. It is completely not welded together. Generally, what happens is if one plate is hitting another plate, eventually the plates will merge. They will become one plate. They will cease to become two plates. Okay, there will be only one plate. Still, India and Eurasia has not become the one plate. That means still the movement is happening. So when the plate is moving, so can the mountains and these kind of slopes and all, can they be stable? No, right? So definitely there can be like this they'll move. Okay, so there can be huge changes in the landforms. Okay, so that is a primary reason. So you will see, you will note a point, that is a tectonics, plate movements. Then suddenly there can be a possibility of earthquakes. Right? Earthquake, suddenly that area has received the earthquake. Previously I told you vegetation. Vegetation is also very crucial, because once UPSC has asked question, why you will see more number of earthquakes in the landslides in the Himalayas than in the Western Ghats. I told you Western Ghats are biodiversity hotspots. Huge vegetation, tropical evergreen forest. So that's way the vegetation is holding from these kind of events. Okay, they are not allowing the mass material to move down slope. They are holding, they are not allowing the material to move down slope. While in the Western Himalayas, especially, Eastern Himalayas have more vegetation, but Western Himalayas have less vegetation. So that's the reason there is also having more kind of landslides. The same way Himalayas, in the Himalayas area, the plates are moving together. Okay, that's the reason again Himalayas get more number of landslides. So these are the primary reasons you will see. Primarily you will see in the Himalayas, but these kind of landslides you will see everywhere wherever there are slopes, mountainous regions. Okay, but we will see strongly in the Himalayan region. Why? Because vegetation is less, huge rainfalls, and the rocks there you will see as a sedimentary, loose, unconsolidated rocks. They are not very hard rocks. They are sedimentary rocks. You can say simply kind of mud, okay, the loose, very soft rocks, okay, which can be easily broken down and fall down. And that is also tectonically active area. Plates are still moving forward. In those areas, we are constructing the infrastructure. We are constructing the dams. Now, that is the reason you can imagine why the Siam project is being opposed by the local people. Because again, that area's lithology will be affected. So that area can become much more weaker. So there will be such a kind of possibility of the landslides. So are we clear? Landslides topic. So whatever the content that is required, I have given here. See here, I will always try to remember whenever studying any kind of content in the geography. So first, one important line is defined as a movement of the mass of the rocks, debris on the earth down the slope. Okay, that is a word that I will try to remember. Mass wasting. Mass wasting means huge amount of the material moving down slope. I will not forget the word down slope. I will not forget two major factors, slope and the water. These are the two prime roles playing in the landslides. Okay, rest of the things just once you can go through. Here, for the easy recall purpose, this is how I will prepare. Now, instead of writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, can you see the way I have arranged the same content? Geological causes, morphological causes, like say tectonic movement of the crustal blades, vegetation removal. Morphology means its shape. I am changing its shape. That is called the morphology. Geology means rock related. So the same points I am trying to arrange in a better manner. So this will increase the presentation. Okay, so I will focus more on the presentation. Okay, so the like I said, weathering. See here, sometimes the rock will be weathered because of continuously the rock is getting frozen and rock is getting normal. Okay, contraction and expansion. This can also lead to the weathering, and then it is playing the role in the mass movement of the material. Okay, so this way, if the process continuously happens, it will lead to that thing. See, weathered materials, weak materials, okay, fissured materials related to the geological causes. Okay, then we have also like human causes. I told you, deforestation, mining, water leakage, all these factors. So, National Disaster Management Authority. Whenever a question comes under these landslides and all, if you don't mention NDMA, then you are not writing the complete answer. Okay, so NDMA you must mention what they are saying. Okay, so NDMA is collaborating with the National Remote Sensing Center. Now, can you see here? What is this National Remote Sensing Center? Now, these are the things that are developed by the ISRO. So, ISRO is placing various satellites at the different orbits. Now, what are these satellites are doing? They are also watching your land area, your territory. They are telling you, okay, these kind of resources you have. Here, there is a possibility of the landslide. They have also provided this landslide atlas, something like that. I could not recall the exact word. ISRO has provided this one particular mapping, landslides mapping, something like that. How they are able to provide that? Because of this remote sensing satellites. Once it was asked in one of the state PSC exam, they have discussed the applications of the remote sensing satellites. Okay, remote sensing means remotely you are far away and you are watching them. Okay, so you are placing the satellites. It's basically taking pictures and continuously sending the information. So with these pictures, by sitting in the upper layer, you are able to see what is happening, who is moving, what kind of resources are there. So you are getting the complete information using this technology. Then you can take security related measures, environmental related measures, safety related measures, disaster prevention measures. So all these are the applications of remote sensing satellites. So the same thing is being used here. Okay, like the National Remote Sensing Center and also Department of the Science and Technology. So they have given various preparedness and the response. So what should be done before, during the emergency and during the landslide, before that thing, what you need to do. Okay, so I have given that thing, you can go through. So in India's geographical location and technological activity makes it prone to the landslides, especially in the regions like Himalayas, Northeastern and Western Ghats. The vulnerability profiling, okay, that is also I have told you previously. The area will turn hazard into the disaster depending upon the vulnerability. Now, Hyderabad, is it vulnerable? No. Himalayas, is it vulnerable? Right. Why? Based on the geography. Okay. So, we need to do this before making any kind of preventive strategies. We need to do this vulnerability profiling. This landslide zoning I will do. Both are similar. Okay. So, I will see first on the map where are the possibilities these landslides can occur. This is what said by the NDMA. Okay, where are the possibilities of the landslide? Accordingly, I will make a strategy. Every year, these landslides are coming. So, you need to make some strategy. All loss of life is always happening, every year happening. So, you need to do this this landslide zoning, and accordingly you have to prepare a proper plan. Okay, so you need to understand these times. What is this hazard profiling? Here I am saying landslide. So in the same way, earthquake profiling you are doing. So that is called the hazard profiling. Vulnerability mapping. So I'll use these keywords while writing the mains answers. So this will definitely make my answer look a kind of professional answer. Okay, a kind of answer who is a learned person. Okay, it will not make that will not make my answer look like a kind of generalistic or schoolboys kind of answer. So you need to use the right terminology depending upon the question that is being asked. So we are trying to make a deal with Paraguay. Okay, so we have seen this thing yesterday. Chile, we have made a discussion. So I will not give you again and again. So you need to go through. I am showing you here. So how the way you need to learn. So what is the way? So previously they have asked the same Andes mountain. So the Andes mountain is moving from this way like this, the western parts. So the only thing they have asked is which of the states do not come under the Andes do not pass through which of the states. So basically here you have the Paraguay, here you have the Brazil. Okay, and this is not, it is flowing in the western mountains. Because just like Himalayas we have on the north part, those are also fold mountains present on the western part of your South America continent. So that was the question. So students need to have the proper map in their mind. So you need to remember. So properly remember these countries like this. There are not so many countries. Try to remember. Try to go through those things again and again. So French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela. Okay, so you need to go through those things because they are asking the questions. They are asking the questions in a different manners. Okay, the way like you need to know here. Okay, later on also you will study Atacama Desert. Okay, so you will try to understand where are the lithium resources. Okay, so then you will also see Chile, Bolivia. So these are the areas where you are having the lithium. So various resources also you will do. So try to understand this thing. So then here not just Paraguay and Chile, there is a grouping called Mercosur. Okay, so Mercosur is a southern common market. Like say we have SAFTA, NAFTA, various groupings are formed. Various countries come together and they form the grouping. In the same way, they have various countries in the South America have come together and they have formed the grouping. These are called the Mercosur group. Southern common market is a regional trade bloc. Simply understand the line. It is a trade bloc, regional bloc. In the South America, comprising Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Venezuela. It is currently suspended. Now in the UPSC prelims, they'll set the trap, Venezuela. So you will mark it right, but it is not there. It is suspended. Only these countries. Now we will make a deal with this grouping, with this Mercosur. We already have the preferential trade agreement. We have discussed this thing, PTA, FTA, CECA, CEPA. We have discussed this thing. Okay. So whoever is watching online, please go through the lectures that are previously that I have discussed. So we have discussed various content. Okay, so when situation comes, okay, once we have discussed various other things also, then again I will take up the topics that we have already discussed. Okay, so we have done the PTA. So in the prelims they'll ask what is this Mercosur and all. So you can see here our trade with the South America or Latin America is just $10 billion. Well, with the USA, it is more than $100 billion and all. China, it is more than $100 billion. It is 150 and all. But with the Latin America, it is less $10 billion because connectivity is not there. People-to-people contact is not there. There is no such a kind of strong trade ties or people-to-people ties. We are trying to build the ties because we don't want to depend only on few countries for our market purpose and also for the oil purposes. Venezuela has the major oil resources here. Okay, so we want to take that lithium for the batteries. So lithium is one of the prime key component for your making batteries or the electronic vehicles. So that's why now we are trying to look for the more market, look for more countries, for more resource. So the better, if you put all eggs in single basket, you will be having more risk. So diversify your risk basket. So that's what India is trying to do. So you need to remember. So it is just very less $10 billion. So now we are trying to build these things. So for your purpose, so this is what we need to do: political commitment, institutional arrangement, connectivity improvement, cultural exchanges. Okay. So what do you mean by the Latin America? So South America means continent, North America means continent. Okay. So what do we mean by Latin America? It refers to a cultural region in Americas where Romance languages derived from the Latin are predominantly spoken. This includes Spanish, Portuguese, and French. So countries include Mexico, from the North America. In the Central America, you have this Guatemala and all, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. From the Caribbean, okay, you have this, and South America, you have this thing. Okay, so it is a cultural grouping. Again, you need to also remember Central America countries. Go through those things again and again. Okay, so can you see here Lake Nicaragua? Again, that is also one of the important lake. Someday they may ask, what is this Lake Nicaragua? Where is this? Okay, so here you have Panama. So you will always hear about this Panama Canal. Can you see the narrow gap? Okay, through this gap only. So you will, if you have to enter from the Pacific to the Atlantic, you will enter through this gap. Okay, or else you have to move entire South America and then you have to enter into the Atlantic, right? So this Panama Canal, okay, this is providing you the passage from Pacific to Atlantic or Atlantic to the Pacific. Now USA wants to control this thing. Okay, it is under the Panama's government control. Now USA says we will take that control. Okay, everywhere they want to go something. Okay, so Costa Rica. Okay, just have an idea. Okay, so there you can see here Caribbean Sea. Here, whatever the islands that are there, those are the Caribbean islands in the Caribbean Sea, which you say as a West Indies. Okay, so that is this thing. You need to have an idea. Okay, just see. Keep looking at these things repeatedly. All those locations should be in your mind. So when someone says Costa Rica, you should not be confused whether it is a European country or African country. Okay, at least you should know somewhere in the Central America. Okay, French Guiana, Suriname. Okay, something little bit also, at least roughly it should come into your mind. Okay, so your prelims is more about the accumulated knowledge. So whatever you are studying today, you do not know. Something might come in your prelims handy. Okay, maybe you will be able to utilize this knowledge and able to eliminate some option, some statement, and you will be able to qualify the exam. So your prelims is more about not 1 month preparation, 2 months preparation. What all you are doing in this whole 1 year, 2 years, that's how the accumulated knowledge will help you in qualifying the prelims. Main topic of the day, illegal migrants. So what is the context? So understand the context first. So in the early hours of the Tuesday, at least 14 individuals labeled as illegal migrants were sent across the border into the Bangladesh. So our forces has deported few people. Okay, basically we are saying it as a no man's zone. So we have sent them in the India and Bangladesh border. We are releasing them, but Bangladesh is not taking them. Few of them they have taken. Okay, rest of them they are saying it's not our responsibility. So they are saying now they are staying. These people are staying in the no man's zone. That means they don't belong to this country, or they neither belong to this country. So now they are becoming stateless. So this on one side, yes, for our security conditions, for our purpose, for our sovereignty and for our integrity. So it is our job to identify the illegal migrants and deport them to the country where they belong. But on the other hand, this is also causing human rights violations because Bangladesh is saying they don't belong to us. Now, what is the scenario? Where do they go? Where do we live? Where do these people go? What do they do? So it is very kind of tricky or unfortunate situation. So human rights violated, like human rights commissions, or they are saying that this is a kind of gross violation of the human rights. So we do not know. So how things has to be handled there. So government is saying at least you follow the procedures and do as per the procedure. Don't arbitrarily deport the people. Okay, so we have to do something. We have to make sure that Bangladesh is taking them back. So Bangladesh security forces are saying no. Okay, we will also launch the security forcefully some kind of attack on you if you do this thing kind of thing. So they are also saying something. Okay, but overall this thing is happening. In the same way, we have also seen there are also other migrants called the Rohingyas who have come from the Myanmar region because the Arkan army, okay, they have violently attacked this. These are also Muslim groups. Rohingyas are the Muslim groups, and now currently the people we have sent is also Muslim group. So that's why few people say this is kind of anti-secular and all. Okay, but yes, that is also there. Those arguments also there. We will try to add those points, but we will not say that this is the only point. It is our sovereignty issue, and we have to deport them. Okay, we will not say. We will say these are the criticisms that the government is receiving. Okay, all the criticisms that are being there, and why we are doing that thing, that we will do. And then in the conclusion, we will mention we should follow the law. We should follow the standards that are placed with the India. Okay, so we are doing these things legally only. What are the legal mechanisms that are in place? We will see. Okay, so that is the thing. You got the backdrop, right? You got the background. So what is happening currently? So this is the issue going on. Yeah, issue of the illegal migrants. We are facing very heavily. So because Assam shares the borders with the Bangladesh, especially during the time of the 1971 Bangladesh liberation war with the Pakistan. At that time, because of the instability in the Bangladesh region, huge amount of the illegal migrants has come into the Assam. So that's why they have made a legally time period before March 24th, 1971. Whoever has entered India, they will be given citizenship status. But whoever has come after 1971, March 24, they will be found and they will be deported. This is where was this mentioned? This was mentioned in the Assam Accord. So Assam people were protesting against the government. See, multiple people are coming in Assam and you are not doing anything. Okay, so students were protesting and it was turning a violent movement. In the 1985, then government, central government, and with the group, okay, Students Union, Indian government has made a accord that is called the Assam Accord. You see here. See, this is the most important Assam Accord in the 1985. Okay, with the AASU, All India Students Union. Okay, the government has made a accord. They said in this thing, cut-off date, March 24, 1971 was set as a date. Any person coming beyond that, okay, they will be deported. Now, how do you identify? How will you identify that thing? So, and this thing, in order to implement this thing, so they have made an amendment in the Citizenship Amendment Act. Section 6A was introduced. So, okay, we have made these changes. Pre-1966, those who entered before January 1st, 1966, they will be considered as Indians. Who has entered before 1971, but after 1966, after 10-year time period, their documents will be verified and they will be given the citizenship status. So, Section 6A is also in the news. So, in order to implement Assam Accord, we have introduced Section 6A in the Citizenship Act. Citizenship is the act, that is the act we have in order to deal the citizenship status of the Indians. Who should be given citizenship? When, how the citizenship can be taken back? What kind of rights a person has the citizenship? Now, you are all the citizenship holders. So, when you are a citizenship, you will get some kind of rights and the responsibilities. Okay. So, Section 6A has been introduced. But now, that is fine. Now, how will you identify non-citizens? How will you do that thing? So, that's why they have given a procedure called NRC, National Register of Citizens. So, this is a kind of register. In this register, we will have data of all the citizens. Okay. So, for you to be in that register, you have to submit the documents. So, if you are calling yourself as a citizen, some document you should be able to submit. So, basically, it was supposed to be there in entire India. But the process is not that easy. So, you can imagine how difficult for the entire Indians to maintain the register. And continuously, you need to update it. So, this was supposed to be handled for the entire India. But somehow, this is also having a legal backing under the Citizenship Act. But somehow the process was not taken up. It was supposed to be taken up at least in the Assam, so that to identify the illegal migrants. If you are a citizen of India, you should be able to show some kind of proof in the Assam. Okay, but that process was not continued even in the Assam. Later on, okay, with insistence of the various governments, finally the process was taken up in the Assam. Okay, in the 2019, they have started this identifying this thing. Okay, once they have identified. But the process has given many errors. 1.9 million people has not been given a kind of citizen status. So that's why the process was kept on hold. They have not implemented it. If it was some 100, 200 or 1000 people, they would have deported them. But they have found 1.9 million people out of this list who are considered as illegal migrants. So that's why they have kept this process on the hold. Now, if you are considered as a illegal migrant, what is the thing that you can do? Then you have to go to the foreigner tribunal. Okay, there you will go and you will say, no, I'm a citizen, but this process has not given me properly. Okay, they have not done the process properly. If the foreigner tribunal is not there, foreigner tribunal is not present in every state. If for suppose you are caught as a illegal migrant in Hyderabad, you don't have, you should if you are a not illegal migrant, you should be holding passport. Okay. If you are not holding any of these Indian documents or any kind of passport, then you will be sent to the local courts, since the tribunal is not there. But if the tribunal is there, you will be sent to the tribunal. You can also appeal against the tribunal in the High Court and the Supreme Court. In this way, in this process, around 33,000 people were finally declared as a kind of illegal migrants in the Assam. Now the Assam government is trying to deport them. All of them are missing, the Assam government says. So we are not able to trace them. Okay, so somehow they will be kept in this trial camps and all. Okay, they will be finally deported to that those place. But somehow Assam government says they are missing. Now we need to identify them, that they can be security threat. In those, whoever they are finding, they are trying to send them back. Have you understood the whole story? Without understanding this background, you will not understand any of the article. Now with this clarity, you will know everything. So when this process was going on, since these errors were there, so it was they have filed a case in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has upheld the process of the NRC. Okay, Supreme Court of India has ruled that all the Bangladeshi migrants who entered Assam after March 24th will be considered as illegal immigrants. It has upheld the Section 6A. Okay, some people claim the Section 6A should be struck down. Human rights violation is happening because you have to deport the people, and especially like say they are the Muslims, minority people, Bengali speaking minorities. So various things regarding is kind of anti-secular and all is going on, because at the simultaneously you might have seen, if you remember, previously government has passed one more Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, where if you are belonging to the country of like say Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan, okay, from these countries, if you are a minority belonging to the minority community in those countries, like say like minority communities in those countries are like Hindus, Buddhists, Parsis, Sikhs, all those things, except Muslims. Muslims are not there because they are the majority. If they are facing any kind of threat in their country, if they are in India for 5 years, they'll get the citizenship. Now there are other group of communities have also entered as illegal migrants, but they got the citizenship status because of the amendment that has happened under the new amendment. There, if you are belonging to one particular community, you are considered as a citizen because of the change in the amendment. But now the other community, minority group of communities, now they are considered as illegal migrant. Have you understood the difference? So that's why few groups, they say we don't want to implement the Citizenship Amendment Act. So various protests have been taken up against the Citizenship Amendment Act. Now they are saying it is this kind of anti-India stand, but government has its own response. This says okay, because they are like suppressing the minorities there. Muslims are not the minorities there. Okay, now these Muslims are getting suppressed, but they will say Rohingyas are also getting suppressed and all. So that is a completely again different act, Citizenship Amendment. But I have tried to give you the connection why they are saying it is anti-secular and all. Got clarity? Previously, they have amended Citizenship Act. As per this act, some of the minorities of the three countries, like Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, if they are facing any kind of religious persecution, they will be given citizenship in India if they have stayed for more than 5 years. Okay, so apart from the Muslims, all of the communities were included, like Buddhists, Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Jains, all of this. So now they have stayed for India, like just they have also come to India as illegal migrants, but they got the citizenship now because they have stayed for 5 years with the amendment. Now the other communities, like minority communities, they have not got the citizenship status, right? They will be deported. After 1971, if you have entered India, then even if you stayed for more than 10 years, you will be eliminated. No, it is not allowed. The cutoff date is 1971. Anyone, how will you identify they are Bangladeshis? Anyone who is entering the 1971, if you are not a citizen of India, you will be tried under the foreigner tribunals, then you will be deported. Clear? Not an easy thing, very confusing thing. Okay, I have tried to given everything at one place so that you get the clarity. Okay, so the students will get confused regarding this NRC, section 6A of the Citizenship Act, everything. See, now what are the laws in place? This can be asked. Directly they can ask in the mains, what are the laws in place you have to deal with the illegal or non-citizens? So you have the Foreigners Act 1946. This is a key piece of legislation that defines who is a foreigner. And then Passports Entry Act. You can enter in India only you have the valid passport. And then Foreigners Tribunal Act 1964. So if you contest that wrong judgment has been given on you, that you are the citizen but you are considered as a non-citizen, then you can contest in this Foreigners Tribunal. So these are the three main acts you have. Okay, you need to answer me here one question. Is Article 21, right to life, is it applicable to only citizens or non-citizens also? Everyone. Okay. So that is also one more argument. Now these peoples are getting deported in the no man's zone. Even the same thing with the Rohingyas. Now they are getting threat to their life. So you are violating right to life. So this is also one more argument. So that's how I will generate 4 or 5 points this side, 4 or 5 points that side. That's how we need to think under multiple dimensions. So very unfortunate things happens in the world. Okay, you might have seen now the thing that is happening in the Gaza also. So huge, so many, if you see the images and all, so many children are dying. So it feels, when I used to read newspaper as a kind of aspirant, okay, I used to feel so disturbed. So you will hear various kinds of violence, rape cases, murders. So what is happening is these many things are happening on daily basis, human rights thing. Okay, or after a bit of time, you'll be little thick skin, you get used to all these things. Okay, yeah. But at the same time, we should neither we get too disturbed, neither we should get lack of we should not become a person without any kind of empathy. Apathy should not develop. APATHI. So we should not be indifferent. You should feel sensitive to all the human rights violations, but at the same time, you should not get disturbed. And when you are analyzing these things, be it a Gaza, be it a Palestine, or be it a kind of death of the minorities in the Bangladesh, Hindu people dying, or anything, anywhere, so you should check that from the human rights perspective. You should not, being a UPSC aspirants, being a cream of this country, you guys should always think humanity first, not the religion. So if you see the other people's debate, they're always taking the religion stand. It can be from anything, anyone. Okay, but as a bureaucrat, if you hold this value that you associate yourself with one particular religion or anything, it is very easy that you can be caught in the interview. It is not that difficult. Okay, so you should build yourself as a person who believes in the humanity. Okay, who believes in the first humanity first. Okay, you can love your religion, whatever the culture, language it is there, but humanity is first. You will analyze that thing based on the rationality, whether why is this right, why is that wrong, not based on your ideology, not based on your association with a particular language. Okay, so you will keep yourself away from that thing. Okay, there is a concept called wheel of ignorance in your lateral level study in your ethics philosophy. Okay, wheel of ignorance means whenever you are giving judgment, okay, if you know the person is your brother or sister, you will consider the person is completely new, stranger to you. Okay, so then you will give what is the right. In the same way, when you are analyzing things which is right or wrong, you will have that kind of wheel of ignorance. Okay, so I want you guys to build that perspective, build that kind of value. So they have recently amended this foreigners tribunal order also. Okay, so they have made a judgment, they have made a change that entire India there should be these tribunals. Okay, they have said in entire India NRC should be held. Okay, so then only, okay, so many things came up. Okay, now people got scared. So now whatever thing that is happening in Assam, now the same thing can happen in the entire India. Okay, so once it was so much in the news. Okay, NRC, NPR, okay, all these things. So what will happen if you are not considered as a kind of citizen? Okay, then you will be tried in the tribunal. Okay, all these things. But so this is happening currently. So you need to remember all these 3 acts. There is also one more Illegal Migrant Determination Act, but it was struck down. It was not that effective. Here, one most important point that you need to remember here is, see here, Foreigners Act. This will be asked. This means in this Foreigners Act, there is a definition of the foreigner, and the burden of the proof will be on the person to prove that he is an Indian. This is the most important point. Okay, so in the previous this act, IMDT Act, Illegal Migrant Determination Act. So whoever is authority, they are catching, they have to prove that he is a legal migrant, he or she. But now, as per the Foreigners Act, the person has to prove that he is Indian, or else he will be tried under the Foreigners Tribunal. Okay, so now all these laws, they are very old laws. Okay, and there are lack of proper clarity and all. Okay, so that's why we are talking about bringing the new law. Need for new law, outdated framework, redundancy and inefficiencies to handle the modern challenges. For suppose you might have seen in the USA, so students are coming up in the studying in the universities and creating a disturbance. Now there is also responsibility on the educational institutions. Okay, who is coming for solely for the study purposes or coming for the kind of disturbances. So it is a responsibility of the universities also to handle, to check whether they are having the proper documents or not. So that we need to bring new kinds of changes, and also like say these transport, like say airports and all, they need to check when you are you need to have proper vigilance At the airports also, if any kind of illegal migrants, they are entering into the India without any proper documents, fake passports. So all these things has to be properly checked. So all those provisions, they have tried to make a bill, but the bill is yet to be passed. Okay, understood the whole picture? Okay, another small topic. So understand here. So International Air Transport Association, basically it's a kind of private associations. Okay, regarding the association of airline carriers. It's a kind of people who are doing business in the civil aviation industry. Those grouping have come together. It is an international meeting. Currently, this meeting is held in the Delhi, okay, India. So that's why this meeting becomes important. The most important point that you need to remember here is India is a third largest civil aviation industry, because economy is growing, people are growing. Now everyone want to travel with flight. Previously, when I used to stay in Delhi, okay, then when I have to come to Hyderabad and all, so it used to take 28-29 hours. Okay, so then again you have to sit in the train, then you have to sleep and all. But with flight, it's 2 hours. And then now prices are also reduced. Previously the prices were very high. Now the prices have come down. Okay, so India is the third largest market in the civil aviation industry. Okay, so we are trying to make it even much more bigger than number one. But the major problem that you need to understand here is, okay, like I have told you this thing previously also. Okay, if I ask you the major problem that you need to immediately tell me is, we don't have our own domestic manufacturing of aircrafts. Domestic manufacturing of aircrafts we do not have. We want to develop this thing, but this is not very easy. Okay, there is monopoly of Boeing. Another one, what is another one? Airbus. Okay, these are having monopoly. Okay, from there we will take the entire world is taking for the lease the aircrafts. And you might have seen so many accidents in the Boeing aircraft. Okay, this thing, that thing, you keep on frequently listening. Okay, but still they are having a monopoly, duopoly, you can say. So we want to develop the manufacturing capacity for these aircrafts, but currently I don't think it is that easy. Okay, so we are taking it for the lease. Second thing, now if any kind of repairs happens, so again we don't have that kind of repair facilities in India. We'll call it as a MRO. Maintenance, repair and the overhaul facility. These are the two major things. We do not have our domestic manufacturing capacity for the aircraft and do not have the maintenance, repair and the overhaul facility. So recently Modi government has said, okay, in the same meeting, our Prime Minister has said we'll develop these things. By 2030, we will have the MRO market. At least this can be done. So we have allowed 100% FDI. Again, we bring investment 100% FDI. So we'll provide the easy clearances. We'll provide the easy things for you to set up the business here. So these are the two major things. Then apart from this, I've also told you, okay, so the major cost for this aviation aircrafts is, one thing, they have to buy it on the lease, and second thing is the aviation turbine fuel. So we import majority of the fuel, right? Any kind of changes in the prices, so this thing will be fluctuating, and this is causing huge losses. And so many players are there. So huge competitive prices, and they are making losses. Many of the aircraft industries, they are making losses because of the huge heavy competition. And whatever the airports infrastructure we have, that is congested. You might have seen in the Hyderabad. So whenever, if you have traveled for the you have visited the airport, okay, you will see a lot of congestion. So sometimes even if you visit 1.5 hours early, so you might face the threat of challenge of missing the flight, right? This happens. Okay, so congestion, huge congestion. Okay, now if you have to expand the airport facility, you do not have the land and you do not have the necessary infrastructure. So much of congestion. Somewhere we have 160 airports and all. We need to build more airports. And also the airports in the say tier 2, tier 3 cities are not well developed. Even in the Andhra Pradesh, they have developed more than around 6 airports, if I'm not wrong. But only 1 or 2 they are running properly. Rest of them, there is nothing. There is no movement. Many flights are being cancelled because there is no movement of the people. Okay, the people are not turning up. So who will travel from the Vijayawada to Visakhapatnam in the flight? Okay, so this is happening. Okay, so they will go by train and all. It is just 4-hour journey. So this is happening. Okay, the moment there is no much people turning up. So many airports, especially what I'm trying to say is tier 2, tier 3 cities, they are giving up the losses. So this question they will ask. So what are the challenges in the civil aviation industry? This is the point that you have to mention about it. Okay, so whoever is giving the mains, this is the point that you have to remember, and I'll again ask you these points. Okay, there is nothing more than these points. You are prepared. You are prepared with this thing. You have another scheme called Udan scheme. You can go through. Okay, last year they have asked on the Udan scheme. Okay, so we are done on the civil aviation. Okay, we have prepared very well. Okay, we have done like entire thing. So that's it for today. So we have covered whatever the things that we have covered. We are covering things in a comprehensive manner. Okay, thank you. We'll meet again tomorrow. Bye bye.